In this video, I want to talk about total seal rings, and there's usually motivation for doing stuff like this. And so, in this particular case, it wasn't the Samba; it was just a whole series of videos that I saw with people who were having problems working with blow-by issues, oil leaking out generally, sometimes around the valve covers, but mostly around their pulleys. So I thought I'd go over to the Samba and look at some stuff and what's the proper way to vent the crankcase. And the first thing people, in the replies that you look at here, you're going to see, well, do this, do that, do that. And I thought, rather than just attacking it after the fact, maybe what you need to do is maybe try to prevent it to begin with. And since blow-by is essentially what goes past your rings, why don't we take a look at the rings? So you've probably all heard of total seals where they have a double sealing ring. And so let's take a look at it. I want to start with the places that sell them. This happens to be eBay. Not entirely. This is more parts source. So we can get a set of total seals right there. And that's really pretty darn pricey. So, the question you have to ask yourself is, well, is it going to be effective? Well, if you don't want to deal with blow-by, you do what you can do. Let's see what else we can get price-wise. How about we go to Amazon? Total seals, brand Empy. See, I didn't know that Empy was now reproducing what Total Seal does until I started doing research for this particular video. And there it is. Empy makes Total Seals. So let's see what else we can get on Amazon. Again, some more Empy brand. It looks like, yep. Prices is dropping though. What do we want? SIP 1. We got to hit SIP 1 up. There we go. Now we're talking. Look at that. Oh, incidentally, I'm trying to work those rings right there, primarily. This is a very common piston size, the 90.5. Your 1776, basically. That's what they say. So it's a common piston. You've also got that 90.5 in the Bs, but it has the exact same, it has the same ring set on it. So it's the same thing. Anyway, price is dropping. Go to CB. What CB got for us? Yay, CB, look at that price. Now we're getting down there. Things are beginning to happen. I don't know if this is an entire set, but what I did like about this is it gives you a really nice look at how the thing works. It's a double ring. It's got a split. It's got that little gap right there. The standard pressure pushes down on the top one, and the top one then pushes down on the second one. And if you stagger the grooves, this little gap right here doesn't have a tendency to allow stuff to go out. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, CB's got some good stuff. Let's keep moving. Yay, Carcraft. I've never featured Carcraft as one of my suppliers before, but hey, why not? I threw it in there. Here they are. Prices from $119 to $149. Okay. Who else? ACN.net. 90.5. There we go. That's not too shabby. Set a total seal. Oh, this is a second ring only. No wonder it's so inexpensive. I also didn't realize that they would sell you the second ring set only, that you don't have to buy all of it. Just get one of it. Let's keep moving on. All right, having passed through the suppliers, we go over there to the Samba and we say, general consensus on total seal rings. What's a general consensus? So we pop in here and people throw in their 2 cents worth here and there, but I want to look specifically at something. Let me see if I can find it. The first one I want to look at is right here. This is from Dan. He's a builder type guy. He's pretty well known over here in the place. Anyway, on every engine I've built with them, the oil control was less than stellar. That's something you got to understand. Less than stellar oil control. So I'm going to take a look at that. Let's see if anybody else has got something similar to say. Okay, we come down here to, what do we got here? We got G. Keaton. Anyway, he's also agreeing. I had less than 2% leak down after 10,000 and passes and whatnot. So he says that his Grant rings worked well, but he wasn't particularly happy with his total seals oil control. So yeah, oil control. So let's take a look at what modern research tells us about oil control. Well, I'm going to go to Wiseco. Wiseco makes pistons. They don't necessarily make rings. So as a piston manufacturer, they would like you to use the best possible rings to go with their pistons. Very high dollar pistons right here, so I would imagine that given their ability to make high quality pistons, they probably understand high quality rings. I usually like to go to technical papers for stuff like this, but since I'm no longer a KU student, I can't just go over there, either physically or electronically, and raid the archives for technical papers. So I'm a bit on the limited side right now. But what Wiseco has to say here is extremely important and valid. Let me go find it. Here's what he says. So what's the contribution of a modern second ring to combustion chamber sealing? And then he says, right there, negligible. There have been SAE papers published that prove how enlarged second ring gaps actually increase top ring sealing and power. Combustion sealing is 100% the top ring's job. So what he's basically telling us is that what you want to do is open your second ring, close your top ring, and that let's see if we can find some stuff on that oil control. So having established that the second ring is most definitely not there to provide compression or combustion sealing, what about the second main objective of the ring pack? Transferring heat? There are many variables here, but the ring transfers about 70% of combustion heat from the piston to the cooling system. Rings, I think they just scrape the oil, so ultimately it ends up in the oil. Now, our air-cooled motors have got higher temperatures than the water-cooled stuff, so some of this stuff for us is a little bit different. You're not going to, you just can't find research on air-cooled motors. Come on, it's just, it doesn't happen. But yeah, we can kind of extrapolate from this. The oil is going into, the oil is sucking up the heat. Let's see, what else could we got from these guys? Continuing on, as it turns out, the second ring has a lot more to do with lubrication control than the oil ring beneath it. The second ring is what scrapes the oil. The oil ring is what gathers it and pumps it away from the cylinder wall via oil return holes in the oil ring groove. The second ring's main function is to continuously remove excess oil from the bore. As the crank rotates, oil escaping from the pressurized bearings, the rod big ends is constantly thrown up behind the piston, coating the walls of the bore. Yeah, we know all that stuff. But anyway, what they're basically telling you right here is that the second ring is an oil control ring, not a pressure control ring. So, given that this is the case, let's go back and take a real quick look at what you're going to find being sold to you from the suppliers. All right, let's go back to acn.net. You know, these guys have a pretty decent reputation for selling good stuff, but here they are selling us a second ring only. And if you look at every single one of those things that I just showed you, every single one of those sets is second ring double seal, which means oil control problems. So, does Total Seal understand the problem? Let's check it out. We come over to Total Seal and gapless top rings. So in the old days, you couldn't get a gapless top ring. Apparently, from what I was reading, material science has progressed. With better materials comes the ability to build a Total Seal top ring. So they can now do it. But the question is, can you get it for our Volkswagens? So material type, we come in here and we pick out, let's say, a ductile moly. Our bore size, a 90.5, which is what I'm working. These are all in inches. That works out to 3.563. Where is that one? 3.563 right there. Pops. We pop it in that guy. Our groove dimensions, 1.5, 2, and 4. Standard tension, 4 cylinders, oversized none, and look at that price. Holy crap. $240. But at least you can get it. Total Seal top ring, so long as you don't go to the manufacturers. I'm sure that those guys have got that old stuff on their shelves and they would love to sell it to you. Do not buy what they have on their shelves. Understand that it is the top ring that does the sealing and that you can get a Total Seal top ring. Now, I think that it actually is a pretty decent idea. You know, we don't have water. So since we don't have water, we have a tendency to warp and deform a little bit better. And I think having 2 thin rings at the top, it might just offer up a benefit with a mild reduction in blow-by. So rather than reactively doing a blow-by, you can attack it to begin with by throwing out a few bucks. That's a lot of money. Hey, but I tell you what, I bet for that $230 you're going to get better performance than you would out of a $300 what do you call it, the serpentine belt. So yeah, I would rather stick something like this in than a serpentine system. But wow, there's no bling. You can't show off your total seals. They're buried in there. Yeah. Hey, I think we'll call it a day with the total seals.